Hi, it's Kevin May from PhocusWire, the Editor-in-Chief. I'm joined here with Dan Greaves, you're the Senior Manager for Payments Marketing at Amadeus.
That's right. Hey, Kevin.
Yep, how are you doing? Nice to see you again. So, it's a new product. Tell me a little bit, what kind of feedback or conversations did you get from your customers to trigger all this? How did it all come about?
So, it came about basically because when we originally developed the concept of what we call the B2B wallet, the original kind of defining principle or designing principle was payments is not a one-size-fits-all business. So you've got different regulations in different markets. Interchange fee is regulated differently in the US versus the UK versus the rest of Europe, etc. So our original concept was we need to be able to provide that flexibility to our travel agencies. And then once we built the flexibility of having you connect up with a single API, you have access to a suite of what are now 9 different credit cards that you can use on one airline or a different airline or in a different country. Then that complexity became apparent to us. And it actually came about because we started sitting down with our customers and realizing that they weren't making the most of the flexibility we'd given them.
Right.
They were saying, okay, great, just give me one card, I just need the one card, that's fine. And the conversation we were having was, but you realize that if you mix and match, then you're going to see that you're going to get a better, save yourself some money, either on the credit card surcharges or you get a better commercial deal on a different card. And from there, we get to the point, well, yes, but that's a lot of work. So that's why we built the optimization engine, which does that work for the travel agency.
Okay. A lot of talk about machine learning and the real time and all this kind of stuff. How does that work? I mean, what are you doing from the glue behind the scenes? How does that all kind of figure into the eventual product that gets used?
So what we're doing is, so as I said, with Amadeus B2B Wallet, you get access to 9 different payment cards in there. They're all virtual cards through a single API. You don't necessarily need to take all of the 9. Some travel agencies take 3, some take 4, whatever. So imagine you're taking 4 of those cards. Each time you go to generate a payment, what we're going to do is we're going to create 4 different prices. So we're going to take into account the commercial conditions of the card. So you might be getting a rebate on one card, or you might not be getting a rebate on another card. Right. We're going to take into account the card balance. So if there's no money left on the card, you can't use it. We're going to take into account whether there's a surcharge applied to that card, because card surcharges aren't applied consistently across all different types of cards. Some cards you can surcharge, others you can't. So that's going to create a difference. We're going to take into account whether there's a foreign exchange fee. So if you're using a euro card and you're paying in US dollars to a supplier in the US, there's going to be a foreign exchange fee. So we take all of that into account and we provide 4 different prices for the same ticket. And then based on which is the best for your travel agent, for the travel agent, we'll automatically select the best payment method.
Is that hard to do technically?
Yeah. The key piece of it is the pricing. So understanding that for this ticket, for this card, for this supplier, there's a surcharge which is X. Because different suppliers have different surcharging policies. So one supplier may surcharge one card 1.7%, but they may surcharge another card 1% or
right.
not at all. So, and that's fluid. That's not something you can just set and forget. You need to, because those policies change. And foreign exchange fees change, and all of these things are dynamic. So that's why the system works off live dynamic pricing, because then the travel agent using the system doesn't need to worry about what the latest surcharge on card X is.
Yeah.
They just set it and forget it, and we automatically track that.
Okay. What's the rollout schedule for this? Is it just a market specific at the moment, or is it available?
So it's available globally. We built it as a value add to the B2B wallets. The B2B wallet is available globally, and we need to. It's not automatically switch on for all. So what we do is we switch it on for those travel agencies who request it, because there's a bit of setup. They're going to need to build in some of their preferences. So a travel agent might have a specific agreement with a specific supplier to only pay them in a certain way. So
Right.
there's a certain amount of preference that we need to build in there. But basically we're going through now discussing with all of our B2B wallet customers, asking them if they want to have this activated for them.
Okay. And last of all, Dan, I mean, what's your wider view on sort of kind of payment trends and things like that? Where is this all kind of evolving to, do you think?
So right now, the payment industry in general is in, well, I call it a Cambrian explosion of innovation. So
Wow, that's a long phrase.
Exactly. So if you're in the payments business and you're tracking these things, every day pretty much, or at least every week, there's a new method of payment or a new innovation coming to market, whether that's a consumer payment, whether that's for B2B payments. This, for the travel industry, creates a massive amount of opportunity, but it's all still in flux. And so it's creating complexity as well.
Yeah.
So
Is it going to remain in flux though, do you think? Or at some point is it all just going to kind of settle down and...
at some stage, it will settle down, but some stage could be 5 years, it could be 10 years.
Right.
And in the meantime, travel companies need to be able to understand how these travel new methods of payment, but it's not just new methods of payment, it's new ways of connecting to different banks. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes and the back office stuff that can help use payments to help them differentiate versus their customers. So one of the things that the travel industry talks a lot about is the inspiration and the search and the booking cycle. Yeah. Until you've made a payment and until that money's changed hands, that customer is not really yet a secure customer for you. So if you can make that payment process as seamless as possible for your customers, then you're creating a much better experience for your customers and you're increasing your conversion. Yeah. Now, having said that, certain customers are going to want to pay you in a different way. So if you're in Sweden, you're probably going to want to pay, or often going to want to pay with an app called Swish. It's available in Sweden. Or a company called Klarna. You might have heard of Klarna. They're a unicorn. They're going off to the US now. They're just opening the US, expanding across the world. That 30% of e-commerce payments in Sweden are paid using Klarna. But if you go to Spain, nobody's heard of Klarna. Everyone's paying you with Visa. So this is the complexity for a global travel company is, I want to provide my customers this facility, but how do I do it without complicating the lives of everybody?
Right.
And how do I pull in all of the data in the back end and reconcile that and have a single place where I can see all of my transactions regardless of which bank they've been made with or which payment method they've been made with. And that's the challenge that a lot of our customers are facing today.
Okay, right. Dan Greaves, thank you very much. Thank you.